Hello, welcome to Daily News from Marja'iyat TV. Iraqi protesters make a public statement in Iraqi-Saudi borderline. Hundreds of Iraqi protesters rallied in the Iraqi-Saudi borderlines to call for the restoration of Baqi shrines in the holy city of Medina. Each year on the 8th of Shawwal, the Public Relations Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi brings together large numbers of Shia Muslims from all across Iraq to request the reconstruction of Baqi shrines in Saudi Arabia. On this year's 8th of Shawwal, the Iraqi Shias made a public statement which comes as follows. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful, we, the religious scholars, intellectuals, journalists, and Iraqi citizens, renew our protest here as in previous years, declaring the 8th day of the month of Shawwal as the International Day in support of the Baqi, and according to the order of His Highness the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Husseini Shirazi, we request the permission to rebuild the holy shrines of the AhlulBayt, peace be upon them, in this historical and holy cemetery. We make the following legal demands available to the Saudi officials, international organizations in general, and UNESCO in particular, and to all media and all those who share the same concerns. Number 1. The immediate reconstruction of the holy shrines in Baqi Cemetery. Number 2. The incrimination of any aggressive activity that causes harassment of Muslim individuals who visit the grave sites of the holy imams in Baqi Cemetery. Number 3. The criminal cult that desecrated these holy shrines must be put on trial. Number 4. The Iraqi government should start negotiations with the international entities, including the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the UN, and UNESCO, to directly intervene and convince the Saudi authorities to rebuild the sacred shrines in Baqi Cemetery. Number 5. The human rights advocates should build cases against the criminal activities of Takfiri groups in International Criminal Court. The protection of religious sanctities is a right which is engraved in all bodies of law. Number 6. We request the historical and Islamic sites in Hijaz to be listed as World Heritage Sites in UNESCO. To meet these demands, we call on the religious authorities, prominent scholars, intellectuals, writers, journalists, tribal leaders, and all Muslims to exercise the right to preserve the heritage of the Holy Prophet and his family with all the means at their disposal, including, first, adherence to the proclamation of the 8th day of the month of Shawwal as a World Day of Baqi. Second, creating and reinforcing a media movement to introduce the oppressions against the Holy AhlulBayt, peace be upon them. Third, the use of the state-of-the-art technology to communicate with different ethnic groups in the world and introduce the fragrant school of the Holy AhlulBayt, peace be upon them. Fourth, raising the international awareness with respect to the destruction of the shrines in Baqi Cemetery and its significance. Fifth, encouraging the masses to create and sign petitions to the UN headquarters, human rights organizations, heads of state, and other responsible institutions. Sixth, creating websites related to the 8th of Shawwal and creating new sources of content that support this humanitarian issue. Seventh, making an influence on international centers. If the international entities view the destruction of Baqi Cemetery as a threat to their strategic interests, they will push in various ways to lift the construction ban. Eighth, attempting to breathe new life into the body of the Islamic Ummah, which is in deep sleep and vulnerable to various internal and external problems. Needless to say that collaborative efforts should also be taken in order to increase Muslims' awareness, regardless of their affiliations, with respect to the core canons of their faith, such as the Holy Quran, the traditions of the God's Holy Messenger and his household, as well as using the power of reason and intellect to overcome the problems of the Muslim world. Fatima Zahra Institute gives out clothes to orphans in Holy Karbala. Fatima Zahra Cultural and Charitable Institute, affiliated to the Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Karbala, provided clothing to more than 100 orphans. Cash handouts were also given to these orphans during this program. This charity work was carried out in accordance to the orders of Grand Jurist Ayatollah Shirazi on the occasion of the Eid al-Fitr. Fatima Zahra Institute has increased its humanitarian programs in Iraq since the outbreak of coronavirus in this country. It is worth noting that this center has also distributed thousands of food baskets among needy and low-income households in the past months. Director of AhlulBayt Islamic Thought Center meets managers of Roqaya community in Baghdad. Some managers of Roqaya community were hosted by Mr. Ali Sarai, the director of AhlulBayt Islamic Thought Center in the Al-Karq district of Baghdad a few days back. During this meeting, which also included Sheikh Sajjad Tamimi, the participants discussed ways to expand collaborations on cultural and religious programs. Yasin Husayniya commemorates World Day of Baqi in Australia. Yasin Husayniya and mosque affiliated to the Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Sydney, Australia, commemorated the World Day of Baqi on the 8th of the month of Shawwal. In this event, the Shia believers and lovers of AhlulBayt, peace be upon them, condemned the demolition and desecration of the holy shrines in Baqi Cemetery. Furthermore, the Shia believers called for the restoration of these holy shrines in the Al-Baqi Cemetery in the holy city of Medina.